So the straight line, what's the other piece of the straight line? One is motivation, and the other is actually how do you sell to really rich people? And in a nutshell, how is that?
So the motivation is definitely part of the straight line. Like sort of, there's two sides to succeeding in anything, and we live in a world of duality. If there's up, there's going to be down. Yes, no, start, stop. Even the digital world that allows us to communicate, you have a one, you have a zero, right? There's two sides to every coin. Same thing goes in success and sales. And when we speak of sales, there's the inner game of sales success and entrepreneurial success, and the outer game. Inner game means your mindset, what's happening up here between your ears before you ever go out and try to close someone or start a business, whatever that might be. Then the outer world are the actual real world skills that allow you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So, in mindset, there's things like managing your emotional state to make sure that you're in a positive, empowered emotional state, that you have belief systems that support you and that propel you to success and don't stop you from succeeding or cause you to pull back when you shouldn't. Beliefs like my parents had, where they thought that selling was evil, that marketing was evil, that any type of risk was a bad thing. Those are limiting beliefs when it comes to making money. So, you could have the best entrepreneurial skill set and education, like my parents did, like they had great education, but if you have that sort of belief system, it's going to stop you from achieving. So that's inner game as well. Then you have another thing which is called, your vision focus. What's your vision? Do you have a target that you're aiming for? Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? And why does it matter to you? Very important, why why you do what you do. And most people think, oh, I want to make money. And it's not a why. Why is much more profound than that. It's typically to do with someone that you love unconditionally or a cause you believe in. It's not about you. It'll be about the people that you love or the community or something bigger than yourself. That's a real powerful why. And then lastly, on the inner game is something called your standards, your personal standard, what you will not settle for less than. A standard operates like a thermostat. It's like your set point. Where do you burn? Where do you feel comfortable? If you have low standards for making money, well, guess what? It's like the furnace. If the thermostat's set to a low level, the thermos shuts off pretty quickly. If the thermostat is set to a high level, it keeps going. So that's what your standards operate like. And all that's happening every second of every day in your mind, and it's influencing what decisions you make, what you do, how you handle adversity, and those things, when they're wrapped into one empowered, into one empowered, let's say, lump, so to speak, where you're like literally, you have this ability to just be positive and think positively and focus on where you want to go in life. That sets you up for massive success in the outer world, which is now where your strategies, your real world business and entrepreneurial and sales strategies take hold. For example, as a business owner, there are certain skill sets that an entrepreneur must have. There's knowledge that you need. It's critical, mission critical knowledge. And when I talk about entrepreneurship, I typically divide into like these two sides. Like you need to learn how to, believe it or not, fail elegantly. Like how do you go into business and be wrong? And because you're wrong more than you're right when you go into business, you're going to, be on the wrong side of the test more often than not. How do you maximize the lessons learned in the failures, but minimize the amount of money lost, time lost, so you can learn from it and move on and try again? And then that's failing elegantly. It's crucial.
You've tweeted out, and I've heard you say before, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, I love meeting people who know more than me because that's how you learn, right?
Yes, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Do it well. Do it elegantly, and understand it's not so bad to be the one learning.
Yeah, and also I think one of the things I think a quote I'm well known for, and something I say to my kids all the time, especially when they're younger, is like, you're not the failures of your past. You're the resources and the capabilities you glean from your past failures. You get stronger when you fail. If you learn from those failures, you don't become your failure. You don't start thinking you're the failure. Your failure is not you. It's a lesson learned, and you grow stronger with each time you fail, and both mentally, and you learn from that. And that's what sets you up to succeed the next time. So
I like that. Failure means you're a risk taker. If you've got some failures behind you, it means you're a risk taker.
If you haven't failed, then you probably haven't tried. It's like I don't know many people, even like someone like, if you look at someone like Zuckerberg, who seemingly hasn't failed, but he did fail. He's had all these launches and things he's tried since then that haven't worked out. It doesn't affect his massive net worth at his core company, but everyone tries and fails, and it's what you do when you try and fail that defines who you are. How do you process that? Do you learn from it, or do you let it paralyze you? And the worst is that you let it form limiting beliefs inside of you. Like you have a failure about, in a business, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm just not meant to be an entrepreneur. It's not who I am. And that's a massively problematic limiting belief. So it's an example of how you could fail and let it paralyze you versus, okay, I failed. Let me look soberly at this and say, why? What was missing here? What can I learn? How can I grow? And then when you try again, integrate those lessons from your failure into your next pass at success. And if you do that enough times, you surely will succeed. And probably sooner than you think. So it's a crucial part of, and then also on the other side of that is with entrepreneurship. So there's failing elegantly and also succeeding wildly. What do you do when the idea is right? When you have an idea, you test it, and it's actually working better than you thought. How do you take a small idea and scale it? How do you turn a small business into a big business into a international business? And there's all these rules and strategies that are proven to work. And you need to know these as an entrepreneur. And they're all learnable. They're out there. The knowledge is for the taking. It's an open world on the internet. So you're really, I would say, ignore that at your own peril. That's entrepreneurship. The next skill set that's crucial in the outer game is marketing. How do you go out and identify who your best buyers are, your potential buyers, and how do you reach them in a cost-effective way? There's the online marketing, which is very popular right now, and I'm sure it will continue to be. Things like social media, Google ads, just, all the things that we know and use online to reach people, both in our local market and all over the world. Absolutely crucial. And those skills are learnable. They're out there, and you can hire people if you don't have them yourself. And then there's the offline, the traditional TV, radio, knocking on doors, calling on the telephone. So that's marketing, and marketing brings people into your so-called sales funnel, your store, your website, whatever that might be. And then the next step is the one that I'm probably best known for is sales, persuasion. How do you take those people and close them? How do you get them to see the value of what you have to offer, that yours is the best solution for them? And how do you convince them to part with their hard-earned money now? That's without that skill, it's very hard to make money. And then the last part of that is, what I call MSIs, multiple streams of income. And what do you do with your money once you make it? How do you put your money to work to make more money for you so you can ultimately retire and be wealthy? Meaning, you don't have to just run around like a chicken with a head on trying to make the next dollar, because your money's actually earning money for you. Those are like this 4 on one side, 4 on the other. So inner game, outer game, 8 things in all. If you know all 8 of those things, you're going to end up being very successful in life, I promise you.
It's funny. Back in 2016, I actually wrote a book called "Settle for More," and the title was from a saying: "The only difference between you and someone you envy is you settled for less." And I actually got it from Dr. Phil. But right, it's to one of the points you made, right? Like, you got to set the high goals, and if you set the low goals, and you're sitting there feeling unhappy, that's on you.
Well, the problem with most people and their goals is not, people that don't succeed. The problem is that they set their goals too high and miss them. They mostly set their goals too low and hit them. And then because the enemy of great is good. Because when you're feeling good or average, there's no pain, no uncomfortability. So you don't have any impetus to change. So it's like, one of the most profound things I ever heard in an interview was from James Cameron. He was being interviewed after Avatar came out, and now he had like 2 out of the 3 multi-billion-dollar blockbusters. And I think it was named Larry King. Forgot who it was. They rest in peace. They said, James, how is it that one person has 2 of the biggest grossing movies of all time? He goes, well, when I go about planning this out, I'm thinking about it. I'm looking to have a $3 billion. I want to have the biggest multi-billion-dollar hit in my mind. So if I'm only half right, I'm still doing really well. He set the goal so high that even if he misses them, he's still doing well.